My great-grandmother, was born. Mary Ann Griffiths was born on a boat. Well, I think she was born at Bronson, but somebody else tells me it was somewhere near Worcester. But her uncle started this carrying company, John Griffiths at Bedworth. And this is one of their boats, so that's my claim to connections to canal people. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with trains. That is the first photograph I ever took. It's of a Castle-class locomotive on its way to Birmingham in Harbury Cutting. I was fascinated with steam trains, and then they brought in diesels, which weren't so interesting. So I went and volunteered on the Leighton Buzzard Narrow Gauge Railway, just steam railway. You can see from the state of the track, it was in a fairly poor condition. And I worked on that, and one day I saw in Waterways World a letter from somebody who was running down all the preserved railways and saying, well, they're not doing anything. They're a waste of time. They're just taking people on rides up and down branch lines, and nothing sort of social value really. And I was a bit annoyed. I wrote a reply to it, but at the same time I thought, well, he's sort of right. Anyway, in the back of my head, and then I got interested in boats. I thought it would just be a bit of a hobby. And then I ended up going to Chester College to learn to be a teacher on this pair of little boats. I thought, well, I'll live on the boat so that I don't have to pay rent, because I don't like paying rent. Anyway, then I bought for £100 a 70-foot boat.
Is that you with long hair?
Yeah. And I said, I'll do it up. And
how old were you there?
70, that was 74, 75. I'd have been 22. So I started. Didn't know what. I mean, that boat I replaced all but one plank. And that's now Lilith and belongs to the society. There's an enlarged picture. One of my first little boats in the hold. And next to her is what I called then Sarah, but later found out that her real name was Forget-Me-Not. She had a conversion on her, which I was taking off. I bought her for £25. But then, that's carried on with work on Lilith at Runcorn. That's the first time I did a sideways launch on a boat. Then got involved with carrying on the ship canal. If you can see, a really tiny boat just this side of the quay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just about, yeah.
That's a 80-ton barge loaded with grain. And in the background is the biggest ship ever to dock in Liverpool. And our grain had just come off that ship. There we are on our way up the ship canal. That's at Ellesmere Port. Later we had a dumb barge to tow, the Sarah Rabbit, and that was a foggy day on the Mersey. 84 tons of grain on Parbella, 100 tons on the dumb boat to Sarah Rabbit. There we are at Frodsham, where we used to unload, and that was a bigger barge that was working with us for a while. Spurn Light it was called. And now we're on to Forget-Me-Not. Eventually I found she wasn't Sarah, she was Forget-Me-Not. She was built in 1927 at Polesworth, but then 2 years later she was motorised at Braunson, but the original motorisation still kept the horseboat shape, and she had cavitation plates fitted. One of those fellas on the starn there is young Henry Grantham, and his dad is in the background there, I think, with his mum. You can tell her it's his mum because she's in the full boat dress. Yeah, and that's 1929. They've just had her motorised. Later on, she was fitted with the counter. This was when she finished work in 1959. It was sold off to be used as a houseboat. People had just taken her away then. And she still had a Bollinger engine then. There she is, a houseboat at Burfield on the River Kennet. There she is at Ellesmere Port, sunk, because she did have a bit of a habit of sinking. We used to have an arrangement with the fire brigade at Ellesmere Port. We'd go up to the fire station and say, we've got a boat sunk, and they'd say, oh, great, training.
Yeah.
So they'd come down and pump it out and put it down as training. I tried that in Ashton, when Hazel sank on us, and they, ooh, health and safety, oh no, don't like that. But in the end, they helped anyway, unofficially, because I knew one of the firemen. 1987.
Yeah, it must be about that. Ashton packet boat.
Yeah, there she is being dragged out of the
Look
water.
at all that greenery on the opposite side.
Yeah. It's a,
Look at that.
It's a forest.
You can't see that now. It's, like you said, it's a ruddy forest now.
Yeah. Yes, it was a fun day.
That's the bottom end of the yard, isn't it?
It is.
Bridge 24 in the background.
And you can see the state the bow's in. It didn't show the whole bow, but you see how it's falling apart.
Can I tell the little story that goes with this? Because
you like.
you're obviously pulling her out there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yep. I was new to boating. So it was 84, did you say it was?
87.
87.
Mm-hmm.
I'd only been on the canals about 3 years, right? And I went down and had a quick word with him, first time I ever met him. And I said, what are you going to do? I said, why are you blowing those planks in the water? He said, well, we're going to pull the boat out. I said, all right, yeah. I said, well, good luck with that. Scoffing. I said, I've got to go out shopping. Went out. I was only out an hour or something. Come back. He's pulled the boat out the water and it was chocked up. And I didn't know at this point. So I came back and I said, wow. I was dead impressed. And I vowed never to scoff at anybody else again till I either watched them, what they were doing, to learn and stuff. And I watched him rebuild this boat over all the years that he lived there. But yeah, I was scoffing at him in my head, thinking, oh yeah, that's going to take you all damn day, sort of thing. Because round the corner, they got the system of pulling them up on the trolleys, haven't they? Mm-hmm. So I'd never seen boats come out on the railway line trolleys. Never seen this method before. But I was dead impressed. By the time I got back, and the time that he'd done it in, I was well impressed.
I think it was more than an hour.
Well, it might have been a couple of hours then.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama in that couple of hours, I can tell you.
Well, I expected them to still be in the water with it when I got home, and it wasn't. It was all out and chopped up. Yeah. And I've never scoffed again since at anybody.
Yeah, that's what the bow was down to. I left that plank in for the time being just to show me where the bow had been.
Yeah.
And that's me. And just hiding behind that upright is my beautiful assistant Morag.
Morag, that seems to ring a bell.
And there we are steaming a plank.
Look at the old railway bridge in the background.
Making chalico, which is sealant used between the planks. We're using it in all sorts of places, particularly on the inside of the planks, between the planks and the shearing. That's where I was living, on the cloths in the fore end.
Yeah, I remember you doing that.
A little stove made out of a gas bottle.
Yeah.
But then eventually I moved into what I called a meow. Minimum impact accommodation unit.
That was the lean-to at the side of the boat, wasn't it?
I was on top of...
When you were doing the boatman's cabin?
On top of a stack of surplus bottom boards.
Yeah.
Somebody gave us a garden shed, and I just leaned two sections of it together, threw a tarpaulin over, mattress inside, and moved in.
That's when you started on the boatman's cabin, wasn't it? When you moved in there.
Yeah.
And I remember it all.
Yeah. And the fellow who fitted out the boatman's cabin was a friend of young Henry Grantham, you saw in that early photograph, and got in touch with me because he knew that his mate's boat was being restored. and came up and helped. While I was in there, I took basically 3 months off to oppose the British Waterways Bill, which was a private bill brought into Parliament that would have stopped everything we're doing, really. I opposed it because it being a private bill, if you're affected, you have a right to petition against it. We managed to get that, and I was lying in there. You can see a computer screen. That was an old PCW computer, Amstrad, and I was typing speeches for the House of Lords, and letters to the Lords, and all sorts of things in there in the middle of winter. And I'd be lying in my sleeping bag typing away. And then my fingers would get so cold I have to take a break and shove my hands in the sleeping bag.
So what time of year are we talking about?
Oh, it was through the winter.
No. Can you remember the year? Because if you came in 87...
Well, we launched in 1994.
Was it 94?
No, it was about 1990, 1991 we did this. Yeah. Coming on, cabin going up. That was one of our volunteers then, David... David... on his surname, nice bloke.
That crane that's on that photograph.
It works again now.
It still works.
It didn't then, but it was. They've restored it since. But it was really useful for winching things up.
Yeah, hand winching it up.
There's the bow taking shape.
Fabulous.
Oh, so many people have died since David there has since died, and young Kevin, he died.
Oh dear.
He was actually helping in the shop here. He was on his way here to help out and had a heart attack on the way.
Shame.
But he was quite learning disabled, but I taught him to caulk. The bow taking shape. Maxine, sign writing the cabin sides. And one of the things is, you spend years and years and years rebuilding a boat, and you hear people on the towpath saying, "Oh, that'll never be finished." Maxine comes, does a week's work, sign writing the cabin sides, and you're on the towpath. Oh, it's coming on well now, isn't it?
Bit of pain.
It's all them sceptics like I used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I remember that.
The launch.
Your mum was there, wasn't she?
She was,
Dropped a bottle of, I don't know what, was it champagne or was it just Prosecco or something?
It was Aqua Libra, I think.
Oh, all right. Non-alcoholic.
Right, that was the boatyard when we first moved in there. 2 metres above the canal. There we are, another view. That's the old railway bridge abutment, which we've had to remove most of. We were promised some funding and it fell through, basically because of the funder. So we started digging it out by hand, believe it or not.
So what year did you acquire it then?
We acquired it in 1999.
1999.
This would be 2002, 3, because we were promised us funding for 2003, and wrote to them in 2002, basically said, "Well, we haven't heard from you. Is there anything we need to do?" Because it'd been promised. And they replied to say, "Well, we don't know when or whether we're going."
This is why I missed it all. I was still working.
Yeah.
And I was working away
Terrible
a lot.
thing
This
work.
is why. Eh?
Terrible thing work.
I know.
Eventually, we got a digger in. That's Grumpy Dave. Yeah. Oh, yeah. As far as I know, he's still alive. Thank goodness.
There's a lot of digging there.
Yeah. And you can see we're moving one of the containers.
So if you had
down.
a wall on the canal side that you said you had to take down,
Yeah.
I am right thinking that was a stone wall.
Yeah.
How come it goes in like that and you can't pull a boat in?
Right.
Why was that shape? Had that been built on afterwards? Or?
Yeah.
'Cause
Originally, the wall was straight along to the back of the houses. But in 1884, they built, and on that site was a bobbin mill. When we excavated, we found the foundations of the steam engine they used to have to drive it. But in 1884, they built a railway line which went across it diagonally, which is why these two funny cutouts in the corners.
Right.
And they built a viaduct, and the abutment for the viaduct stuck out into the canal a bit. So that's why there's that dogleg shape.
Right, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When she was launched, we asked if we could take her to the museum, and they said no initially. So we did a bit of arm twisting, and they said yes. And so there she is, midwinter, early days at the museum.
So what year did you move to the museum? Because the arches used to be taken over by, the boat builder that got his yard in Hyde.
Yeah.
So were you there at the same time as him, or was it after him?
I think it was after him.
Just after he'd gone?
Yeah.
Moved down to the Arms,
But
can't remember his
we
name
had
now.
to have boat sitters every night because the place was like the Wild West.
Well, yeah.
Lilith, in the meantime, would be sent. We got this butty which I'd rebuilt, and she took the name Lilith. That's the story in itself. And what do we do with a butty? So we got this project going, raise funds for a charity called Green Deserts, who were planting planting trees in the desert to hold the desert back. So we had a load of people, there was loads of unemployed people at the time, some of them quite, skillful musicians and whatever. So we got people to go and spend time on Lilith, hitchhiking around the canal system, putting on little shows and busking and whatever to raise funds for this charity. So that's Lilith going up Fox and Locks. And there she is, I think that's somewhere on the Cheshire Locks. Somebody did a sketch of the inside of her back cabin. Hazel. This was Hazel in what date was it?
It'd be very early looking at the cabin cruisers.
1955.
Yeah.
There was a rally in Banbury to save the Oxford Canal. Nowadays, the Oxford Canal, major tourist site, world famous canal for pleasure cruising. In those days, it was a redundant transport asset, and they wanted to close it and pull it in.
Is it an arm, the Oxford Canal? Is it a dead end, or does it go through?
It joins the South Oxford, goes from Napton Junction to join the Thames at Oxford.
Right, it's one canal I haven't done.
Yeah,
I haven't done like the Grand Union from Birmingham down and that side of it.
Yeah,
it's something I'd like to do before I pop the mortal coil type thing. But I've worked in Oxford a couple of times. I've walked the river. I don't think I've found the canal at all when I was working down there.
Yeah. So we've still got the cup. Actually, she won a prize for the best converted narrowboat.
Oh, brilliant!
She'd been a houseboat stroke pleasure boat since 1951, and she had an engine then. That's when we got her. We put her on the slip at
that's that packet boat again.
At Ashton Packet
Look at that!
Boat.
No flaming trees or anything. Just a green shed in the background.
We took her up there to have a look at her and sort of went, oh dear.
So what year is this then?
1988.
Oh yeah, so I'd have been there as well.
Yeah. There she is at Runcorn. Fiddler's Ferry Power Station in the background. That's gone now. It's brewing up to boil people's kettles.
That's where she was built, Runcorn.
She was built at Runcorn, not at that yard, but about half a mile further down the cut.
Look at that. I bet those chimneys have gone in the background.
Yeah, they have.
The power station chimneys.
That used to generate 5% of the nation's electricity.
Look at the lovely sunshine on the canal water. It's beautiful photograph.
And Legs and Maxine lived on there and looked after her, kept her afloat. Then eventually we had some trouble at Runcorn. The place got taken over by drug dealers.
Oh dear.
So, but we'd had an invitation from the chief executive of the council to bring all our boats to Portland Basin. So that's 1998, I think it is. Steve Kelly with his tug.
Right. It's Pilgrim Towage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pilgrim Towage.
Towing her past Stretford Dry Dock as was, but unfortunately by then it had been filled in and was being converted to a housing estate, which is a great shame. Yeah, but that is where she was converted in 1951.
So is that the Bridgewater then?
Bridgewater,
yeah. If he's on it.
We had a bit of a problem coming up the Rochdale locks because one of the guard irons caught on something and sprung off, and they're trying to
the rudder.
No, the guard iron. You see
the guard iron. Oh yes.
We're trying to lever it off.
Yeah.
So that because
you'd get stuck with the locks.
We couldn't keep it on because it just jam on everything.
In the locks and go down.
Yeah. And that fella with the sort of reddish, purplish
top on.
Yeah.
Who is it?
That's Colin Scrivener.
All right.
And he lived on the boat in the 1960s, moved off because his family got too big, but he's kept in touch with Hazel ever since.
Oh, lovely.
Unfortunately, he died aged 92, I think, earlier this year, while I was in hospital, so I couldn't go to his funeral. He's kept in touch with the boat, and he broke the bottle to launch the boat in 2013. Forget-me-nots again. There she is, loaded with 10 tons or so of granite sets at Bronson Boat Show in 1995. There she is, carrying an icebreaker, which we carried for somebody from Cosgrove to Runcorn, because he was going to restore it, but unfortunately he didn't. That's when we rescued Southam. The most expensive boat we bought. That cost £525.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Price of inflation.
We got the engine going.
Oh well, that was.
But it packed up again on the way up. So
I was going to say, at least you got your 500 quid with them, boy.
Yeah, well, but it was rebuilt later, and it's come out now because it was basically that was the engine that was put in 1965 when she was converted, and it's basically pretty much worn out now. But we've got another very similar engine to replace it. There she is on dry dock at Runcorn, the Sprinch. Mike, what happened was Maxine and Legs and their daughter Kaylee lived on Hazel at Runcorn and looked after her for 10 years. And they made friends with this couple who were both living with their respective parents, both unemployed, like most people seemed were around there at that time. They were quite young, 19, 20-ish. And they kept saying, "Oh, I'd love to live on a boat, but we haven't got any money." And then this one came available, but we hadn't got any money, and somebody gave us a boat, a fiberglass boat. So we sold it, raised £500, and okay, we'll buy you the boat then to live on, which they did, and fixed it up nicely. Then got their own boat, and so eventually we brought it up to Runcorn, to Ashton, join the others. There she is, setting out. I think it was 1990.
Remind me of the name of this one again.
Southam.
That's Southam.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
1996 or 7. I can't remember what year it was. Setting out from Runcorn along the Runcorn Arm. That's at Norton Priory. There she is later on, towing on a recycling trip. It was a time when Forget-me-nots had no engine, so Southam has got a very powerful engine.
Is that coming under Garbridge?
Yeah.
Now underneath Garbridge.
No, it's Hanover Street Bridge.
Oh, Hanover, yeah, because there's a boat on the other side. Of course, it's Hanover Street.
With
Bridge,
the
Bridge 24.
Yeah, with the stove brewing up on the inside. That was Queen when we got her. We rigged up a coffer dam round the fore end because it was right underwater, setting up pumps early one morning, pumping her out, and that is on the trip. That's actually at Tixall Wide on the trip northbound. She had a very tall conversion, which she still has, and we sort of hitchhiked her north in shift. In fact, an account of it in this forthcoming Waterways World. I was worried that she wouldn't go through Harecastle Tunnel.
Uh-huh.
So I was trying to get a message to the people who are on the boat at Braunson. Turn left at Braunson, turn not right. Well, they didn't get it and they turned right. So I took over at Great Hayward. I thought she was towering over all the other boats. I thought, don't want to go all the way up to Harecastle and find she won't fit through. So turned left up the Stour Cut, but there's really tight locks, and I had quite a adventure of getting her through the narrow locks. Came up with Shroppy and that way. There she is
Portland Basin,
at
yes.
Portland Basin. There she is sheathed in tin with shallop underneath it. That was 2001.
Yeah, that's back at
If we hadn't done that, she'd have fallen to bits.
Yeah, that's back at Ashton Packet Boat, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
We got
the old crane and then the big book shed in the background.
Yeah. Well, that's pumping out. This was in Southall, West London, pumping out Elton. There she is. I think that's near Sutton Stop. Yeah, Old Bridge Junction. We didn't really intend to keep Elton, but we got to Braunson for the Braunson Boat Show, 1995, and there were two different people like squabbling over buying her. One fella we agreed to have the boat, and then the others came along and were really disappointed. Anyway, the fella who had her got her as far as Sutton Stop, and she sank. And he said, "Well, I'll help you pump her out, but can you have her back, please?" And the other people, they've got another old wooden boat. I'm quite glad they didn't have this one, because that wooden boat they had, I think they split up as a couple. It was, and they sold it to somebody, and then it was abandoned. I'm quite glad they didn't have this one, really. So there's all the boats gathered at Portland Basin. Recycling trip, that was one of the first ones, 1996. Lilith had finished doing a Boating for a Better Planet trips. Forget Me Not was working.
To the left, where the blue
yes, all
houses
houses
are.
now.
Yeah. They used to keep peacocks and
Yep.
strange ducks and things
Yep,
in there.
yep.
Could hear those back as far as the moorings when the peacocks used to peacock off, or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
sound they
Yeah,
make. I
I
can't remember the sound.
We really needed to raise some money because some people had lent us money for restoring Forget Me Not, and they wanted it back. So we started doing these recycling trips, and thought, well, we'll do jumble sales and that, which we did a bit, and then we started doing market stalls, and that's the market stall we used to have.
Oh yes, I remember you being on the markets in Ashton.
Yeah.
You had several sites, because I remember you being more over towards where McDonald's is now.
Yeah, that was the final site
That
we
was
had.
that the final
Yeah,
site.
yeah. And then it graduated into a shop.
Yeah.
Went through various shops until we got
You
to
did,
this
didn't
one.
you? Yeah.
This was Lilith for a filming assignment about. It was actually about George Stevenson being made by a German film company, and they wanted to show what transport was like before the railways. So they wanted a horse-drawn boat, really. We tried to arrange it, but Sue Day wanted lots of money for doing it.
As she always did.
We tried to get another horse trained, but he'd had a bit of a fit and wouldn't do it.
So what year would this have been around? Because obviously our horses had gone by then, or retired.
2000 sometime. But anyway, we laid the tunnel for them. Now, that's Fiona who raised the money for Hazel on the bow. We're just approaching the tunnel. And the idea was I'd go on one end of the plank and she'd go on the other, and we'd leg
it
walk
through.
along the
So
side.
which tunnel were you going to go through? Hyde Bank?
Hyde Bank, yeah.
Hyde Bank tunnel, yeah.
But she didn't quite get it. And I couldn't see her. I was wondering why it didn't one sort of going right.
You'd be going one side.
And then when we got to the other end, we realised what she was doing
trying
wrong.
to do it off the roof instead of the side of the wall.
And Imuna, who does costume, and supplied her with those bloomers. It's a good thing too. Anyway, I say she raised money for restoring Hazel. Not all of it, but she raised 75,000. So we needed materials, and I had a phone call out of the blue. I used to work on these grain barges with a guy called Tony Sayers from Liverpool. And we hadn't spoken to each other for 25 years. We hadn't fallen out or anything. It was just, we went in different directions. And anyway, I got this phone call out of the blue. Hello, is that Chris Leah? Sorry, sorry, Helen.
I do not talk like that.
She's Birkenhead, Wirral, she's posh.
Yes.
I said, yeah.
I was born in Ashton.
He says, it's Tony Sayers. Do you want some greenheart? So I said, yeah, all right. What is it? How much you want for it? So, anyway, apparently they'd been doing some work on the lock gates in Liverpool, and there was these big beams of greenheart, which are really hard and heavy tropical wood, which were, I don't know whether they were wrong for the job or they were surplus, they bordered too much, but it was a case
Probably
of...
couldn't cut the damn things, that's why.
Yeah, it was a case of make an offer. So I sort of said, yeah, all right, we'll have them. But then, I was trying to get a sawmill who'd agree to cut them up for us. They wouldn't. As soon as I mentioned greenheart, they'd put the phone down.
I'm not surprised.
So anyway, eventually, I spoke to this real greenheart enthusiast down in Southend.
There's enthusiasts for that.
Yeah,
wood.
there is. He loves it. I said, well, we've got a chain mill, but I don't think that'd touch it. He said, yeah, well, you won't have any trouble. It'd be easier cutting than oak. Well, I didn't really believe him. I thought, well, I'll give it a try. So, Forget Me Not wasn't working at the time, so we used Southam to tow Lilith over to Liverpool. And
So what kind of saw were they going to put them on?
you see him in.
All right.
It was all very... it was very Liverpool. It was all catch. Somebody took out a camera to take a photograph of them loading, and they all turned their backs because none of them was supposed to be there. It was all... they were all working for somebody else at the time.
They were moonlighting.
Yeah, and later on I called back there for something, and I saw one of the guys who was involved. He said, did you pay for that wood? I said, yeah, of course I did. He said, well, did you pay? I said, well, that Welsh fella. He says, it wasn't his to sell. But he didn't seem bothered about it. So yeah, we were at what's the name of the place? Oh, it's near Southport. Big marina there. I can't remember the name of it now. Southam's gearbox stopped working, so we had to leave the boats there for about a month while we fixed it. So that's just them breasted up there. Then we had another delay because there's no water in the canal at Wigan. So we were stuck at Parbold for a while. And eventually we got back. And that is the chain mill.
Right.
An adapted chainsaw. And that's one of the Greenheart beams.
Uh-huh.
I'd love to get my hands on one of those.
No, you're not going near one of them.
And look at
Cut
that.
your-
The wall's intact where the flats are.
I'm not really supposed to use it, but if I cut my arm off, that's my problem.
That's the one I've seen you use when you were cutting the cherry tree up on
Yeah,
the back, wasn't it? I saw you using
yeah.
that. Yes, I
Yeah,
was impressed
but
when I saw that saw.
I
I've never
blew
seen
the
one
engine
like
up
that
there.
before.
I've still got to get fixed. Yeah, they were. I think they were 12 by 14 or something like that, massive beams, and we've still got some of the planks.
Is that one of the planks cut in front of him underneath the orange bit
Yes,
of the
it is.
saw?
Yeah, and,
Wow,
and
yeah.
some of them have gone into Hazel.
Yeah.
There we are. Team just unloaded them at the boatyard. Right, that's winter time on Hazel. I was living on Hazel at the time, and I had this lovely little black cat called Captain Kit Truebucket. But when it got to -10, he wouldn't come out of his little nest.
Well, would you?
I would.
So we
Mad
took
dog's an English
we
one.
went and rescued him and
Was out in the snow.
took him home. That's we're doing some work on Southam, yeah. Southam has a dry rot problem, which I'm hoping we can solve with this boron stuff that we treat it with. Anyway, that was a guy called Brian, who was a shyster. No, we got him on we got him on Future Jobs Fund scheme, which was where you could if you'd been out of work for I think it was 6 months, you get a job paid for by the government at minimum wage with a charity or whatever. And he was a really skilled woodworker.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand why he'd been out of work so long, because although work was a bit scarce, if you got a skill and didn't want top rate, there were jobs, Anyway, found it. He was a complete pain in the arse to work with. Kept moaning about everything, but very skilled. Did a really good job. But odd things kept happening. I won't go into all of them. And then eventually, me and Tom Kitching were loading some timber into Forget-Me-Not. Into Lilith. And he gave us a hand. And 16 days later, he showed me it was his right hand, I think. I think it was that finger. All black and blue with a nail coming off. But he said, do you think my finger's broken? So how'd you do that? He said, when we were loading that timber, Tom dropped a railway sleeper on my finger. Well, he didn't say anything at the time. I did. He didn't. And the next thing we know, he's got a no-win, no-fee merchant onto it. He's wanting compensation. So it went all the way to court. Really, really scary. And eventually the judge said, I do not believe the accident happened as described, if at all.
Oh.
In other words, I don't know how he broke his finger, but how he did it, I don't know. But I know he didn't do it working with us. But,
Well, he deserves the name Shyster then,
well,
doesn't he?
it took 3 years to get to court.
Oh, good God.
He'd not worked in that time. Even though, as I say, it was a bit of a pain in the arse to work with, we were thinking, we were at the time planning Hazel restoration. I was considering inviting him to work on that. Obviously, I didn't. Yeah, but now I know why he couldn't get a job anywhere. Probably
Yeah.
unofficial blacklist.
Yeah.
People tip each other off.
Pain in the backside. Yeah.
Well, it's probably not the first time he's faked an accident.
Probably not his last time either.
I assume you've never seen him since.
No. Right.
Oh, look at that.
It's getting quiz.
Oh,
Charity quiz.
Oh, there, Captain.
I went. My mum was 90 in 2006, and I went to her 90th birthday party. And because she'd always moaned at me for having a long hair and a beard, I thought, well, I'll keep her happy. I'll get my hair cut short and shave my beard off. And she was pleased. But people said, well, why didn't you get it done for charity, raise some funds? And, oh, yeah, okay. Well, this was May 1996. I thought, for the 2007 Canals Festival, I won't cut my hair until then, or my beard, and I'll get it cut off, right? And then my nephew decided to get married on the on the Saturday of that weekend. And a few days before, Hazel sank, and so we decided to make a thing of raising her over the weekend. So that had to happen on the Sunday. So I had to drive down to
Birthday, was it?
Somerset, where he was getting Wells, where he was getting married. See him got married. Drive me all the two nephews home. Drive back, and I slept in the van because I was getting too tired to drive. Carried on to home early in the morning. Got changed into my scrubs. Went down there, raised Hazel with help from Fire Brigade because they were on the wharf and I knew one of them. And then I had to get dressed, and that hat was Amuna's dad used to be the mace bearer for the city of Manchester, and when he retired, he kept the hat. Whether he was supposed to or not, I don't know.
I'm surprised he didn't have the eye patch.
Well, so I thought they looked good if I wore that. So yeah, I dressed up like that, and we had this.
So what happens to the hair cutting session?
Yeah.
Is this it? Are they
Yeah,
tying you up
that
to do it now?
Spider tying me up. Spider was, and his wife did the hair cutting.
Right.
Yeah, Spider's a bit. Well, he was useful if you want to intimidate somebody. he was big, bold, and covered in tattoos. No, really nice guy. And we
A
all
persuader.
we roped in a couple of coppers as well. And there I am.
Oh, good heavens. I don't think I've ever seen you without a beard. Look at that. I would not have recognised you.
Finishing the fore cabin on Lilith. Needs doing again now. Like a lot of things. Loading timber on to Lilith at Lincoln. We took Southam and Lilith down to Lincoln. Timber came from a sawmill near Grimsby, but Lincoln was as near as we could get by boat. And each board, we had to lever off the lorry, and we used our top planks as slideway, slide them down, pa-dunk, into the boat. Then a couple of people would jump in and adjust the load, set it all up again because it all came apart as it came down. The next one, we did it. On the way back up the Trent, and there we are at Knoll Street. With the timber, we lifted it to gunwale height, using the lock as a crane. Hazel on her way up to Staley Bridge for rebuild. Oh, and that's her afterwards. That was the poor end after we'd taken her out of the water. Some of the bottom fell out as she was coming out. The stem post collapsed, and you think that was it. It was knackered, but that's Stuart, who came over from America to work on this boat.
Good heavens.
With his wife and kids. And he's...
Is he still with us? This
No,
guy?
no, he's... yeah, I don't think he'll come back because his wife
no.
didn't enjoy being here.
No, is he still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's
But-
still
well, is he still living in America?
Yeah, he's a real globetrotter.
Well, can't we have some contacts so he can spread the news, America or globe-trotting wherever, and get some funding in
He
from
probably does.
know,
Him and his wife seem to spend a lot of time going on No Kings demonstrations now against Donald Trump.
there? Oh, well, I don't blame him for that one.
But no, Stuart, he can earn shed loads of money working for his parents-in-law, but it's not very interesting work. He is a craftsman. He wants to do craftsman work. He's trained as a boat builder, and he likes to do work that has a social good thing,
Yes,
you know. So he came and worked on this, and so what he basically does, he goes to wherever they live in America. Is it Arizona? Somewhere in the middle where there's no boats. Works for his parents-in-law for a while, builds up the money, and then he goes off on another adventure and builds something somewhere. Yeah. I don't think he'd come back and do another boat with us, though. Not because his wife really didn't enjoy being in Britain, or you know, particularly British weather, winters. she's from Georgia originally. Yeah, that's the boat all stripped down, pretty much. No mould set up for bending new planks round. There we are, bending new planks. And there's the launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! You know that. Yeah, there's a lady here says, can we do it again? I missed it on the... Yes, exactly. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Thank you very much. Now, there's a do this evening.
And there she is, up at Chadkirk. It's a nice place to tie up overnight. Out on a trip down to Fairfield or somewhere. That's
Isn't that the railway?
That's the Brewery
On the left.
Bridge.
Brewery Bridge, yeah, Brewery Bridge and the railway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh right, back to a recycling trip. That was when we were doing canal clean-ups, which I'd like to get back to doing. Really, it stopped because I said we couldn't pull rubbish out the canals because it might disturb the wildlife. Now nobody seems to remember that rule, but
Well, you've got magnet fishers that come down
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
disturbing the wildlife.
I know.
Canal and Rivers Trust are busy pulling stuff out.
I know it's
Yeah.
it was their ecologists who decided
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and I think they've changed ecologists because they
Yeah.
they very often use Canal River Trust as a stepping stone to a better job, don't they?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of what his name, the ecologist for this area. They might come back to me before we
Yeah.
finish. Nadal. He's called Nadal
All
for
right.
this area.
That's out on Forget Me, it's a recycling trip. Oh right, that's after Elton got rammed by community spirit.
All right.
You know, they weren't very community spirited about it because they wanted.
Because their bad excuse is, it's only like in that state.
Well, they claimed that they claimed all the damage they'd done was a scrape of blue paint along the boat, and the split planks were out there already, and we couldn't show that it wasn't that, so we didn't get any money out of it. That's our Bollinger, which hopefully will one day go in Queen. It's just been moved to the Grain Engineering Museum at Haslingden. But irritatingly, while it was at the Tameside College, somebody nicked all the brass and copper off it. Well, that's Southam going up to the boatyard, and that's on Ashton Packet boats, having some plates nailed on. Now, that's the engine was going to go into Southam, but we've got some better ones now. Nessie, replacing planks. Nessie caulking, plates. That's the team. And that was...
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was... what's the name of the place?
I can't work out where we are. You've got a lot.
Rochdale Canal.
Oh, Rochdale.
Wait.
Yep. Todmorden.
Todmorden.
Yeah. The Great Wall of Todd in the background. And, yes, Simon and Joe sat on the balance beam drinking their pints. I thought it made a nice picture.
And that was way before the locks broke down on us.
Yeah, it was a return journey when we had problem with broken locks. That was during the COVID. You notice the crew are wearing masks. So we had to do trips all socially distanced and so on.
Somewhere.
And turn of G Cross. That was on the way back from. That was Croxton Flash. On the way back from.
Is that where the boats are sunk?
There are boats sunk in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they took all the boats in there, didn't they? Is it what they call the Cheshire Flat?
it's one of the flashes. Yeah,
It's one of the flashes, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
Cheshire
still
Flash.
boats in Croxton Flash. The
Yeah.
other ones have been cleared. Yeah, on our way back from Ellesmere Port, that was 2016. This was Lilith's 120th birthday. We took her up to Jet Amber. We just winded Forget-Me-Not and Hazel there. And then we were about to wind Lilith. December the 2nd, that's her birthday. So obviously it was dark. And then we went back to have a bonfire. We planted an oak tree in the
Was
ashes.
I at that one? I'm sure I might
don't
have been.
know.
I remember being frozen on one of them. I only came up on one,
Yeah.
and it was a very, very cold
Yeah,
thing. And we had a
yeah.
big bonfire, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was there.
Oh, right. Well, we planted an oak tree in the ashes. Yeah. And, that's Hazel on dock
Right.
for
Remember
patching.
you had that Land Rover?
New shoeing, and we put some plates on the bow because
Yeah.
Runcorn Wooden Headers were odd in that they only had one guard iron. I think that's because they didn't work through many locks, so they didn't get so much bashing because they mostly worked on the Bridgewater. But she was getting a lot of knocks on that patch area where we
Yeah.
put the patch. So
That looks like Nouster on the left-hand side at the bottom. The boat that's there next to the people.
Yeah.
And look at all the trees growing up on the railway line
Yeah, yeah,
now
yeah.
and everything compared with photos before.
yeah, so we plated that bit to protect the wood a bit.
Maybe probably inside.
That was a
That's-
Swansea strip.
Is that Bugsworth?
Yeah, on the Bugsworth Arm,
It's-
yeah.
Yeah, Teapot Cottages, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yep. That's
Teapot Cottages.
There's
Dan.
Dan. I wonder what's become of Dan.
Oh, I sing him now and then.
Yeah?
Round here
Is
sometimes.
he still okay?
Yes, he's doing okay.
Good. That's some work on... Oh, that's
Hazel.
That's work on Hazel under the motorway bridge. Well, under the Link Road bridge.
Mossway Bridge, it's called. Mossway Bridge.
Mossway Bridge, is that what you call it?
It's the road on top is Mossway.
Is it? I never
Yeah.
knew that.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go.
But, yeah, lesson for the future. Modern plywood is crap, even when you pay top notch for it.
Well,
That was really expensive plywood and it didn't last 10 years.
good God.
So we were renewing that.
Look at that, no trees again. It's all...
There are trees.
Yeah, but when you look at the end of Mossway Bridge, where the people stood,
Yeah.
that is now a woodland on its own.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well, this was winter.
Even so, it's far more forested. And even that side, looking at the factory, you can't see any of that now.
Good. Who wants to see it? I don't know where we're going there. Out on a trip, I suppose.
Well, that last one might have been Romilly, I think. On the bend.
No, it's not.
Is it not? Let's have a look. Let's have another look.
Diverge lane.
Is that
Just going around the bend where the gardens are. I'm sure.
No, it's Guy Bridge.
Is it Guy Bridge?
Guy Bridge Mill there. That's the pub on the left.
Oh, right.
It's boundary.
But once again, you can't see all of that.
Yeah.
It's all overgrown and everything.
Oh, we're back to the beginning again.